Hey scholars, I thought it would be a good idea to film our writing lesson because I didn't want to fall behind. So hopefully you already have your Writers Workshop notebooks in front of you and you have a pen in front of you so that you're ready to get started. So I want you to think back to what we've been doing these last few weeks, which has been we've been writing a narrative in Spanish. And so today's the first day that you guys are going to start the narrative in English. So we have to go back to the first step. We're going to be collecting. So in your notebooks, I'm going to ask you to copy down what I'm basically creating on my laptop. And it's obviously going to be slightly different for you because I'm typing it, but you're going to be writing it down in your notebook. So the first thing is to open up your notebook to the next clean little section. We're going to start by writing today's date, which is tomorrow's date, so October 3rd, 2019. And you're basically going to create a table in your notebook that looks exactly like mine, but you're writing it. And this table is actually going to be about your emotions. So we're going to call it the window to our emotions. And you can center yours. I'm going to center mine. So right after you write the title, I'm going to ask you to create that table. So I'm going to make it on here, and it's 4 quadrants. Quadrilateral, right? So 4 quadrants, and in the first one, you're going to write happy memories. You're going to write sad memories. You're going to write, and look, I'm going to make a lot of space because I want to add ideas in there. So happy memories, sad memories, we're going to add angry memories, and then we're going to add scared memories. So I'm going to ask Miss Ocampo or whomever is your sub to pause the video for a second. Alright, so I'm assuming you've already created the quadrant and you're ready to add some memories, but first I'm going to model it for you. So I'm thinking deeply. I'm going into my memory and I'm thinking of things or places or people or specifically small moments around those people or places or things that have made me happy. So I'm going to start by creating a bullet point. Happy memories. I remember my grandfather bought me a small easel, like the one that we have in the classroom, but a lot smaller, when I did well in school. It was a gift. I remember being super happy about it. Another memory with my grandparents, I remember baking pan dulce with them for Semana Santa, or in English we call it Easter. That's a second happy memory. I'm going to then think about some sad memories. And one sad memory that I shared with you is when I was 5 years old, and I accidentally killed a baby chick. I was devastated. I was so crushed that I did that. And then another sad memory was I spent the last day with my grandfather before he passed away. So now obviously you're going to have some time to think about your own, but I'm going to show you just two more categories, your angry memories as well as your scared memories, or my angry memories as well as my scared memories. I haven't told you this story, but I'm going to be super excited to tell it when I return from Florida. So an angry memory is Mrs. Alonso and I, or when Mrs. Alonso and I went to San Francisco and everything kept going wrong. We almost missed our flight. No, the flight was delayed. Our car that we rented started to break down. It was horrible. There was just one thing after another. And then lastly, some scared memories. A memory that I've shared with you was when my brother scared me at the top of the staircase with a monster mask, or it was a wolf mask, like a werewolf mask. It was really scary, super scary. And then another story I haven't shared with you, but I cannot wait to tell you, and I'm only going to tell a little bit of the story, is when I recently, when I moved to Los Angeles, I was working at a coffee shop and I almost cut my fingertip off. So Miss Ocampo is going to pause the video, or the sub is going to pause the video, and you are going to basically have 3 minutes to think about at least one happy memory, at least one sad memory, one angry small moment, one scared small moment. So pause, and then we're back. So now what you're going to do today for writing is you're going to push your pen. You're going to basically choose one of these memories that you've jotted down in your window of your emotions, window to your emotions, and you're just gonna push your pen as much as you can. So I've already chosen one, or I have one that I really want to write about because it was scary, but I was also not very responsible. So this story is about when I was working at a coffee shop and a customer ordered a sandwich and he wanted extra onions on it. And I had to go cut more onions, and I cut the tip of my finger off and there was blood everywhere. So I'm thinking about how to start the story. So I'm gonna think, I think I'm gonna start with the customer. So he came in and he said, "Good afternoon. I'd like to order a mozzarella sandwich with extra onions." An older gentleman asked me. So, "Good afternoon. I'd like to order a mozzarella sandwich with extra onions." An older gentleman asked me. And then I said, "Sure, let me get to it." I replied politely. I was working at Pazzo Gelato, and I was all by myself that day. In my mind, I thought to myself, I'm thinking, so I thought to myself, I hate cutting onions. Actually, I'm gonna go back. I thought to myself, I'm going to have to cut more onions because I knew we had run out. So I went to the kitchen and took out several onions and the slicer for the onions. My eyes began to water, right? Because when you cut onions or you're working with onions, your eyes just began to water. They get irritated. So my eyes began to water like ponds, and tears were streaming down my face as I was cutting. I became distracted for a second, and my finger got caught on the blade. I looked down, and suddenly there was a gush of blood. It looked, I'm misspelling. It looked like a geyser, a red geyser. I'm gonna fix this. And if you're like wondering what a geyser looks like, this is what it looks like. Geyser. Yeah, that's exactly what the blood from my finger looked like. So I'm gonna pause it right here. Wrong thing. Wrong thing. Okay, I'm gonna pause it right here. I'm gonna read it. And if I had more time, I would continue, obviously, and I'll tell you the rest of the story when I get back. But listen to what I have so far. Good afternoon. I'd like to order a mozzarella sandwich with extra onions. An older gentleman asked me. Sure, let me get to it, I replied politely. I was working at Pazzo Gelato and I was all by myself that day. In my mind, I thought to myself, ugh, I'm gonna have to cut more onions because I knew we had run out. I went to the kitchen and took out several onions and the slicer for the onions. My eyes began to water like ponds, and tears were streaming down my face. As I was cutting, I became distracted for a second, and my finger got caught on the blade. I looked down, and suddenly there was a gush of blood. See? I made a mistake. It looked like a red geyser. So, collecting different ideas, angry moments, angry small moments, scared small moments, happy small moments, and sad small moments, and you're going to choose one and you're going to push your pen for at least 15 to 20 minutes. If you're finished, add a drawing. If you want to really push yourself, you do one entry, one story, like the beginning of a story, and then pick another one and see, maybe tomorrow you're going to think like, wow, I really like this one or I really like this one. So that's where I'm going to end. Make sure that you're working independently and quietly so Miss Ocampo can give you some Mao dollars.